Hello everyone, I'm Delmark Hernandez and I came from the time machine from 2010 back to 1898 after the Pact of Biak na Bato was signed last 14 of December 1897 in Bulacan, and the Declaration of Philippine Independence last June 1898 in Kawit, Cavite. And after the Spanish army in the Philippines capitulated after the Macbato, General Merritt proclaimed occupation of Manila last August 13 to 14, 1898 in Manila. Now is the opening of the Malolos Congress, but before that, watch this.
The United States imposed her sovereignty over the Philippines by virtue of the Treaty of Paris, in which Spain ceded the country to her. The Filipino people rejected the American sovereignty and to show their capacity for self-government, Aguinaldo established the dictatorial government in May, and after a month, the revolutionary government. They were prepared and determined to defend their freedom, which they won from Spain, in defiance of the United States to set her authority to control the Filipinos. The first Philippine Republic was established in Malolos, Bulacan on January 28, 1899. In the morning of September 15, 1898, the Barasuin Church was filled with delegates and spectators while the national anthem was being played. A few minutes later, the Malolos Congress was inaugurated amidst the loud cry of acclamation of the people that the Philippines is for the Filipino people. The inaugural ceremony formally began at 10:30 in the morning. Pedro Paterno was elected president of the Congress. It was attended by army officers, troopers in gala uniforms, dignitaries, foreign and local correspondents, and prominent members of the community to bear witness to the historic event. General Aguinaldo, in his message to Congress, paid tribute to the rare courage, fortitude, tenacity of spirit, patriotism, and heroism which exemplified the Filipino character at its highest and loftiest measures, and enjoined the Filipino people to rally behind the Malolos Congress. The officers of the Congress were Pedro A. Paterno, President; Benito Legarda, Vice President; Gregorio Araneta, First Secretary; and Pablo Ocampo, Second Secretary. The delegates created the Permanent Commission of Justice together with the different committees. These committees are Committee on Felicitations, Committee on Messages, Committee on Internal Regulations, Committee on Style, and Committee to Draft the Constitution. The most significant act of Congress was the ratification on September 29, 1898 of the Philippine independence proclaimed at Kawit on June 12. The committee to draft the Constitution was constituted and headed by Felipe G. Calderon and other members who belonged to the Filipino intelligentsia, who possessed intellectual and moral integrity. The members of the committee studied carefully the three constitutional drafts for consideration: the Mabini Constitutional Plan, the Paterno Constitutional Plan, and the Calderon Plan. The Mabini Plan was constitutional program of the Philippine Republic, while the Paterno Plan was based on the Spanish Constitution of 1868. Calderon, a noted constitutional lawyer, based his plan on the constitutions of Belgium, Brazil, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Mexico, and France. After a thorough examination of the different constitutional plans, the committee chose the Calderon Plan as the best subject to amendments and submitted it to the Malolos Congress for approval. Calderon sponsored the proposed constitution to Congress on October 8, 1898. This was followed by the distribution of printed copies to the members of Congress. After a few days of deliberating on the sensitive article, it was changed. Thus, the state recognized the freedom of the equality of religion, as well as the separation of the church and state. The Malolos Constitution was approved by a majority vote of the members of the Congress and then forwarded to the President Aguinaldo for approval on November 29, 1898. The Constitution is the first document ever produced by the people's representatives, anchored on sound democratic philosophy and traditions. It embodied the Filipino aspirations of a government that was truly popular, representative, and responsible with three distinct branches: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. It also provided an article on the Bill of Rights that enumerated the individual rights and privileges of the citizen. It was designed to protect them against encroachments by the government or by any individual or group of individuals. Its basis was the social importance accorded to the individual in the democratic society, that every individual has the dignity and worth which must be respected and safeguarded. The Malolos Constitution had a unicameral legislature. It is unique in the sense that the legislature is superior to either the executive or the judicial branch. Calderon's reason for the omnipotence of the legislature was that he feared the predominance of ignorant military elements who might abuse their power because they were soldiers behind Aguinaldo. The Malolos Constitution was the symbol of unity, freedom, equality, justice, and the customs and traditions that reflect the character of the Filipino people. Apolinario Mabini objected to some provisions of the Constitution, so Aguinaldo held its promulgation until such time that Congress leaders could find the proper solution. They finally compromised with Mabini, Aguinaldo's closest advisor. By acceding to insert the needed amendments in the document, Aguinaldo formally promulgated the Constitution that embodied the ideology, belief system, and values of the Filipino people on January 21, 1899. He expressed his congratulations to the members of the Malolos Congress, the armed forces, and most especially to all the Filipino people for their cooperative efforts and sacrifices in the struggle to gain independence. He said that the aspirations of lofty ideals of a resilient race to live under the democratic regime of the Philippine Republic, free from the yoke of any foreign domination. He concluded his inaugural address by declaring that, "Great is this day, glorious this date, and forever memorable this moment in which our beloved people are raised to the apotheosis." On January 2, President Aguinaldo formed his cabinet. Apolinario Mabini as President of the Cabinet and Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Teodoro Sandico, Secretary of Interior, Baldomero Aguinaldo, Secretary of War, Mariano Trias, Secretary of Finance, Graciano Gonzaga, Secretary of Welfare including Public Instruction, Public Works and Communications, Agriculture, Industry, and Commerce. According to Mabini, the cabinet belonged to no party, nor does it desire to form one. It stands for nothing save the interest of the fatherland. One of the significant acts of Aguinaldo after his inauguration was to issue a decree granting pardon to all Spanish prisoners of war who were not members of the Spanish regular army, and at the same time granting to Spaniards and other aliens the right to engage in business within the territorial boundaries of the Republic. Hello there, I'm back. So what are the highlights in my report? The following were among the most important achievements of the Malolos Congress. Listen, classmates. These are: in September 29, 1898, ratified the Declaration of Philippine Independence held at Kawit, Cavite on June 12, 1898. Passage of a law that allowed the Philippines to borrow 20 million from banks for government expenses. Establishment of the Universidad Literatura de Filipinas and other schools. Drafting of the Philippine Constitution. Declaring war against the United States on June 12, 1890. And that's all. Thank you.
Ang bayan kong Pilipinas, lupain ng ginto at bulaklak, pag-ibigan sa kanyang palak, nagalay na kandatilak, at sa kanyang yumi at ganda, dayuhan